we're back. This is Newsfile. It's your most authoritative news analysis show. And here on Newsfile, we put Ghana first. And I've got your messages, a lot of them on these matters. And Kwejo Ahojo says that this Gitmo 2 issues don't make sense to me. The U.S., with all its might, did not want them. So what was the sense in Ghana accepting them?
The Interior Minister's letter, one of it said so.
Okay.
Raised the point
that saying that one of the Interior Minister's letter that advised the government then against accepting them.
Congress
said
voted
exactly what
to say that those people should not be settled on U.S. soil.
Yes, we are aware of that.
We know that.
So let's not go back.
I'm talking of what the Ministry of Interior said.
Upon
which is
Kwame
similar
says
to that
that Madame Monacote is talking about compassion. Trump is deporting kids and family members. Do they have compassion?
Trump
we
is
always use. We are always used and dumped.
Something, just a second.
Yes.
When we talked about compassion today here, we're talking about our presidents. We're talking about President Mahama having had compassion. And today we're talking about President Akufo-Addo having compassion.
Right.
What President Trump does, to be honest, affects us in a way. But
what he does shouldn't
what
change
he
what
does
we should
and what
do.
he decides has no effect on us. So please, don't confuse the two, please.
Okay. Thank you very much. And there's a message that was sent in by Kofi Bento, who got us all to start debating whether or not the Gitmo 2 had to continue to remain here or had to be sent away. I'm looking for that message sent by Kofi Bento of Imani, Ghana. And he says he wants these questions answered. If they are thinking in the best interests of Ghana, they cannot be refugees according to our refugee law. They did not come here by themselves. They were prisoners of the USA. Yes. 3, giving Trump's stance on Africans, the dislike, insults and deportations and racism. Must we be doing him a favor? We should send U.S. and Trump a small message. That's what he thinks.
How can you send them to the U.S.?
No, you
can't. How are you going to fly them?
I like the first part.
Which airline will accept them?
I like the first part because
who
that
give
is in sync with the argument that the documentation from the refugee board notwithstanding, they cannot find, solace under the refugee, under their status as refugees.
Okay, answer. Why can't answer Yeboah says I should inform Kweku Bakon that they are not of any security threat within 2 years means nothing. Please don't be deceived that they appear harmless. Syrian Islamist Omar Bakri Mohammed for 10 years was of no security threat when he came to the UK as refugee, looking harmless and humbling as a stray dog.
Yeah,
as what? Sorry.
Maybe that is why government, in spite of what is to Supreme Court, are still looking for a third location.
All right.
But I hear him.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now, a few things have been happening, particularly with regards to a medical facility, one that we are informed because of the facilities that are contained in there. Perhaps we may not have had to send the Vice President to the UK for medical attention if we had ensured that it was operating. And that's the University of Ghana Medical Center. Mustafa, we know that the issue came up. The Flagstaff House decided to intervene and resolve matters. Where do we stand now?
Thank you very much, Samson. Where we stand now and where we are in relation to this matter is that the joint communique that was signed between 3 parties, that's Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education, and University of Ghana, is the document that holds for now. That is the arrangement. And
that is only a commitment to resolving the issue.
Exactly,
more.
exactly. So right now, the parties have agreed to meet again next week, Wednesday, to then put in place a mechanism for how the facility will be managed going forward. And perhaps that should be the final arrangement that gets acceptable to everybody. So the parties being Ministry of Health, the university, and also the construction party. Is that okay? So that is what it is. So as far as I'm concerned, really, the public banter and disagreements, in my view, should cease. Why? Because the University of Ghana itself belongs to the government of Ghana.
That's right.
University of Ghana is Ghana government property. Is that okay? And therefore, all its parts are also Ghana government property. And so, for me, the argument that arose as to whether that facility is a Ghana government property or not, in my view, was needless. Are you following me?
And it was particularly needless because the agreement signed between the government on the one part, as in represented by the Ministry of Health
Yes.
and the University of Ghana, the agreement that was signed on the 1st of March 2015
Yes.
was very clear.
Exactly.
Without any equivocation that the ownership was in the University of Ghana. So why are we here?
You see, I'm sure that we can banter with ownership and all its sub-meanings. Are you following me? But first of all, let's go to the genesis. This project is called a turnkey project. And when you're a Minister for Information, you get to learn so many things. Monacote, they are in economics and commercial business. So we are told that a turnkey project is, if my definition is wrong, you correct me, it's a project or it's a contract under which a firm agrees to fully design, construct, and equip a facility and turn the project over to the purchaser when it is ready for operation for remuneration.
So it is delivered, the project is delivered to you complete.
Complete.
There are times when it is EPC, engineering, procurement, construction.
Yes.
There are times when it's even EPCM, management as well. But this particular one was just to engineer, design. Procure, construct, and just hand over.
Exactly. Great. Now, hand over to whom? According to the terms of the contract, the client here was Ministry of Health. That is also very clear. And then the client, Ministry of Health, proceeded to set up a project implementation unit headed by one Professor Aaron Lawson. Are you okay? And then
was the client the Ministry of Health or Government of Ghana?
Yes, Government of Ghana as represented. Yeah, exactly, that's the point I'm making. Government of Ghana as represented by the Ministry of Health. Exactly. And so Government of Ghana as represented by the Ministry of Health, let's set up this project implementation unit headed by Professor Aaron Lawson. Mind you, like she said, that $217 million was sourced as loan for the construction of that facility, to be paid by government, as re-emphasized by this agreement, to be paid by government.
It is a public investment.
It is a public investment. So, really and truly, the owner of that facility, like I have already alluded, because the university itself is owned by government. That facility inside the University of Ghana is also owned by government. Now, because it is in a university, if it was constructed in a plot of land at Sogakope, for example, I'm not sure the same arguments would have arisen. The reason perhaps this argument is arising is because it is in an academic facility. And generally, there is a certain principle called academic freedom, where universities have a certain semblance of autonomy and so on. And so,
but Hamid, let me just add one thing
yes.
to buttress your point.
Yes.
Also, it was built within what was always known as the medical village, envisaged by Osagyefo Kwame Nkrumah.
Exactly.
So it was definitely to be part of the medical school.
Absolutely.
I hope
Absolutely.
there's no
that one, there's no ambiguity also about it. That it's always been a dream facility. Okay. Now that dream facility materializes. Now, this agreement, which you have alluded to, which everybody here is holding, says that it talks about the obligations of the parties to the contract, the obligations of government. I'll skip that and go to the obligations of the university. It says that the university, one, shall create a special purpose vehicle to oversee the management of the hospital. Now, this is where the contention, this is what became contentious when the MPP government took place and the Honorable Ajimaimenu went to the ministry. The university proceeded to establish that special purpose vehicle. And the people who constituted the special purpose vehicle, a company was set up specifically to be the one to run the facility, called University of Ghana Medical Center Company Limited. And the people who were in this company are Professor Ernest Ayiti, who at that time was
the VC,
the Vice Chancellor. I can see Robert Joseph Metal Nunu, who at the beginnings of the project was a Deputy Minister
for Health
at the Ministry of Health. Professor Aaron Lawson, who I said was the project implementation.
Do you by any chance have the date of the registration?
The date of the registration of this is September, original incorporation date, 10th September 2015. Are you okay? Mm-hmm. So now these are the directors of the special purpose vehicle to run the company. Now, most of these people, especially these two, the critical ones, the pro-vice chancellor and the former deputy minister for health, are no longer in public service in those respective capacities. They've become private citizens, I must say. Now, the minister thought that arrangement, where government says that the university should operate and run the facility, and where the university then also sublets the running of that facility to a special purpose vehicle, and especially to people who are involved in this special vehicle who are no longer in public service, in the view of the minister, is an anomaly.
He didn't do his search. Professor Ayiti says when he ceased to be on the university's board.
Yes.
Let him finish.
That was supposed to be done.
Let him finish.
No problem.
It's important.
So the minister thought that another arrangement should be made where we run the facility according to the vision of creating a center of excellence for medicine, which would also become a hub for us to get our counterparts in the West Africa region to come and etc. etc. So
I hope this is not a vision different from what the University of Ghana already had.
No, that has always been the vision.
Because the University of Ghana has had the plan and this vision long ago.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. But
okay.
we've made that point countless times, even this morning.
Okay.
Are you following me?
All right.
And so, but I'm saying that the minister thought that this special purpose vehicle arrangement was not the right way to do it, and that we should find other arrangements. That has since been resolved, because now the University Council itself has dissolved the special purpose vehicle.
Okay.
And so the agreement that now holds is that the three entities will meet, like I said, next week to agree on a new set of arrangements for running the facility.
Okay.
So this is the update.
Let's hear Yunus Afseni quickly on this.
You say something. Me, my worry is that any time that, and it has been very consistent. We saw it with the Ministry of Finance. We saw it even with the Attorney General's office itself. And now we are seeing it with the Ministry of Health. We saw it with the DVLA. It appears that any time the this government, appointees of this government want to take decisions which are potentially controversial, they don't seek the opinion of the Attorney General. They don't.
What do you mean?
That's not.
Why? There's something. Are the directors of the company owners of the company?
No.
So directors are different from shareholders. The company's 100% share of the University of Ghana Medical Center is vested in who?
The University of Ghana.
You're saying the
directors of a company are different
the
from
one
the
who is
owners of the
responsible for all of these debates was spewing ignorance.
Ignorance.
Oh.
Pure and simple. Unless, of course, you have never been a director in the public institution. If you are going to incorporate a company because you are the directors of the institution, you incorporate, you sign. Immediately you leave office, you lose that directorship. It's a continuity.
So what were the replacements?
You don't need, the University of Ghana Medical Center Limited has not been dissolved. It's the board that has been dissolved. Immediately they incorporated the company, it took a personality of its own. The company is still a legal entity.
He's asking a question. Is it not legitimate? Don't they have to register the changes that occur?
They will have to register the changes that occur. But these are, at incorporation, you need pre-incorporation directors.
Yes, but we said that.
Even when you are incorporating a company, you don't necessarily have to choose your directors. You just choose those who will do the pre-incorporation. And then after that, you can go and file for change of directors.
Yeah, so my question is still valid.
Why
didn't they
So it is not
themselves?
True that they registered a private company. There's no private company here. It's not true. It's a public company.
They registered the special purpose vehicle
public
for management.
limited liability company.
Correct.
That's the University of Ghana Medical Center. It's not a private limited liability. It's a public limited liability company.
Exactly, but I'm saying...
So that is number one. Number two, is it a strange arrangement?
No.
Can never be a strange arrangement. You have a University of Ghana. They are establishing a medical center. That medical center will run on what would say open market basis. I mean principles. They will receive clients, treat them, charge them, raise resources. You will need to put in a management who you can hold accountable to that. And so they establish a company for the purpose. You can't diffuse. You can't have a diffuse management system for that hospital that will run special exercise or special treatment or undertake special activities on the campus of the University of Ghana. So they set up a special purpose vehicle, special SPV, special purpose vehicle.
The government was responsible for procuring the loan, so it should protect the interests of the taxpayer, so to speak.
So government procures loans, so the thing becomes government. Government runs it. And then government should go and run what is the name of that company? Volta River Authority.
And was government also not to be responsible for the as were salaries or
for the first 5 years.
5 years.
Correct.
It's an arrangement so that it can stand on its feet.
Yes, and because this entity is actually also involved in research and teaching, not only care, research and teaching. This is a long-term investment for long-term rewards of medicine in this country.
What has just happened is that in taking the document and reading them, you see, people had a view that when this company was established by people who otherwise are not sympathetic to our ideology, they are not part of us. We must kill it. But in killing it, they failed to look at what exactly happened. They failed to seek advice. I heard the minister himself and I was shocked. The loan was procured by government. The government put in the project implementation committee. And so
government ought to be interested in how that
but not to run the place.
Brother, the hospital is to be run by the University of Ghana. You see, the hospital management is very smart. We have been told that the university, and that's the university I attended. I know they are very smart. We have been told that they have signed a memorandum of understanding to amicably resolve the matter. Also,
yeah.
The agreement of 1st March 2015, dispute settlement clause.
Yes.
Have you seen it?
Yes, it's there.
Have you seen it? So they are following the agreement. The university is following the agreement.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so the clause that he's referring to is supposed to be a clause that any good lawyer should never miss when they are doing some of these things for their clients. And it says that the party shall use their best efforts to settle amicably all disputes arising out of or in connection with this agreement or its interpretation. Any dispute between the parties as to matters arising pursuant to this agreement that cannot be settled amicably within 30 days after receipt by one party of the other party's request for such amicable settlement may be submitted by either party to arbitration under the Alternative Dispute Resolution Act of Ghana. So these are matters that you cannot right away run to court. If you went to court, the court will ask you to go back and try and resolve your matter.
But sometimes let me ask my elder brother, Inus Afusini, a question. If you set up a special purpose vehicle to run a facility, don't you think that it is also prudent to have, if you want, regulations for which or for how they are going to run, how they are going to account for proceeds emanating out of how they run?
But
I don't know how they call it.
I really want to answer that because I think that please, if you don't mind, thank you so much. So, Samson, you have not asked me a question, but I'm ready to answer based on the discussion.
No, you are in commercial.
So let me also take the document that you had that listed the directors so that I speak to that as well. Thank you. So there is an agreement that we've all referred to, 1st March 2015. It is not an MOU. It is an agreement. Because I saw in the news some NP saying, oh, an MOU. Please, it is not an MOU. It is an agreement. An agreement that states categorically, one, that the University of Ghana is the owner of this facility. And we all understand why now. It is within a context. Before it even goes into the obligations of government and the obligations of the owner. Okay. The owner works under a certain policy institution, which is the Ministry of Health. And we respect that policy role of the Ministry of Health. Why was this agreement put in place? It was to ensure that the Ministry of Health would not treat this new facility as just any other one, as it has done with Kolebu, but that the University of Ghana, whose 3 big goals were care, research, and teaching, would ensure that that took place. It was to remove Ministry of Health's direct influence on this. And that is why this agreement was in place. Reduce bureaucracy, reduce that policy part of it, and have this.
In fact, they have a comprehensive plan for it.
Yes.
And I've seen part of it where out of that, I think sometime in 2011, they asked the government to assist the process by getting them the loan. To
complete another 6 million.
Then eventually government got the money. Professor Mills went and cut short for this process.
Oh, this was initially, yes.
Okay, then the whole thing started. And then 2000 and is this 16 or so, this project was completed. And $217 million has been spent on this project.
Correct. Samson.
And we're told that it's actually ready for operation.
Yes.
But it's not true.
Yes. So, Samson, let us just continue from there. Therefore, it is clear who the owners are. The owners then decide a board of directors who will govern. They are not the management. They are the governors. And they will recruit managers. Professor Lawson, as Honorable Hamid rightly said, was with the project right from the beginning, had all the rich experience and institutional memory to go with it. So he was the interim CEO and most likely would translate into the CEO, perhaps for a few more years, whatever. But that's in the future. He was also one of the directors. Usually a CEO is one of the directors, executive director. The other directors, you had the Vice Chancellor at the time, Professor Aite, be made the chair of the board as Vice Chancellor. Subsequently, he was no longer Vice Chancellor, but he was maintained as the chair, and the new Vice Chancellor became a director. So now the new vice chancellor is the director. There's nothing wrong with that. That is correct. They also had, I believe, 3 private sector doctors. This was to make sure that the board, as it brought its governorship through policy creation and all that, had both public and private sector experience going into making sure that this turnkey project, this quaternary as they call it, does well in terms of care for all of Ghana, research, and for teaching purposes. So this board that we keep talking about, only Prof. Aite, Metal Nunu, and Lawson, please, it's a bigger board. It involves private sector doctors, and it includes the current vice chancellor. When you are setting up, your initial directors will be those who are with you. So Prof. Aite was the chair. Now, we all know that the Minister of Health is not just anyone who walked into business or politics recently. The Honorable Minister has been in Parliament for a long time. He understands government business. And so, in fact, when my brothers here say, is it ignorance? I would say it's not ignorance. I believe that he knows what he's doing. He must know what he's doing. He must understand an agreement, this one which was signed March 2015, and the reason for the agreement was explained to him. He understands that. Yet goes ahead and sets this agreement aside, create a new MOU, is that what you refer to? Create a new MOU to settle a situation which we all know how it should be settled within this agreement. Maybe he's not a lawyer, but you don't set aside such agreements so easily, create an MOU thing, and then start to try and work with it. That is not right. I believe that the minister and his deputy minister, if they had listened, because I know that they are intelligent people, if they had listened, would have understood the principles of this, and therefore made it work. Because today you ask me, is it working? By now it should have been working if they had listened and done the right thing.
The other thing now is that there are over 800 or is it 1,000 plus persons who have already been recruited. Who have, there was 1,000 something that applied and about 800 recruited. They are worried because they were waiting that this thing was going to start off quickly for them to come. But it's important. I just want to read the D of the agreement, article or clause D1. It's about ownership. It says the parties agree that the hospital shall be owned by the university.
Straight.
Then there is D2, obligations of the parties. 2.1 says, 2.1a says the government undertakes
to repay
the loan secured for the construction of the hospital. So the loan was taken by the government for somebody. It's not for the government. Okay.
It was taken for us, you and I.
The government undertake to cover the running cost of the hospital in the first 5 years of operation. The government undertakes to assist the university in the purchase of equipment and other requirements of the hospital where needed. The government undertakes to nominate a person or persons to represent the government on the management board of the hospital to be set up by the parties.
Yes.
So, and the ministry, the government undertakes to second staff of the Ministry of Health to the hospital upon request by the university through its agents.
Correct.
So, let's hear from Kweku quickly because we are running out of time.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, on the back of all of these, what do you think must have occasioned a disagreement?
Well, I was just going to say that, and I mean it, the Akufo-Addo administration can do without such avoidable nuisance and irritation.
This is nuisance and irritation.
Indeed, it is.
I repeat, the Akufo-Addo administration can do without such avoidable nuisance and irritation. A little bit of finesse applied could cure this matter.
Simple.
That's all.
No further
you see, he asked whether you can set up a company without regulations. You can't actually register a company without regulations.
And we're told that there are a number of such facilities that were set up that presently are not operating. Meanwhile, they should be. The University of Ghana one, which was completed in 2017, we spent $217 million. We have a 60 to 70 bed Bank of Ghana hospital, which was also completed in 2017. We spent $36 million on that. We have a 130-bed international maritime hospital completed in 2016. 23 million spent on that. We spent 860 million on the Volo Digital Village. You know, and then you have the various other hospitals that
these are all assets that should be returning
and are supposed to be working now, but they are not working. And you know, last week we spoke about the doctor-patient ratio and all of these situations. Nurses who are home, yes.
So we have to find out.
Matters including what you say is nuisance and irritation.
But for you know, not all of them are ready to take off.
Okay.
We have to find those.
Right.
We as journalists,
I think that's cool strike.
Those that are ready to take off, we should allow them to take off, isn't it? Okay. Thank you very much. My time is up. Thank you, Kweku Bako, Madame Monakote, Abdul Hamid, Mustafa, and Inus Afuseini. Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon. My outfit, as always, is by Latida.